Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News. This is a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, I'm sorry I was gone last week. I was in California and way too busy to make one of these videos, but we're back and we've got a couple highlights to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is Zack Gerber's Us&Them section that went online on the Our BMX YouTube channel yesterday. This video, if you haven't seen it, is one that you need to push pause, click it up, and watch it right now because there is so much insanity in this video, and it kind of brings up a point that I wanted to talk about and kind of give a salute to the senders of BMX who have been doing it for consistent periods of time over a long period of time. Zack Gerber is one of the people like Sean Burns and Mike Hoder and just all these other guys who have been absolutely sending it for years and doing so at the highest level for so long consistently. That is not something that very many people can do, as we've seen by all of the dudes who are super gnarly who aren't in BMX anymore because they were too gnarly and ended up hurting themselves. And there's just something to be said for the people who consistently and absolutely destroy it on this level with this amount of send. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all of those dudes and say that BMX needs more of you. And then another highlight of the week is Rooftop Escamilla's Feeble talk that went up also on the Our BMX YouTube channel. This is supposedly the last ever video recorded Feeble talk that's going to happen because when Ride BMX shut down and they started up Our BMX, the dudes lost access to the studio that they would do the Feeble talks in. So video Feeble talks are done and podcast Feeble talks are starting. So at least we've got something coming. And when it comes to this one right here, this is the one to end it on because it was so freaking good. I think my favorite part of the entire thing is where Fudger brought up some news stuff and then Rooftop kind of reacted to it and gave his opinions on it. And holy crap, he's just so honest and he gave his real thoughts and opinions on things. And all of it was not just feelings based on, oh, I don't like that kind of trick or I don't like this. He was just being real and honest, and it was awesome. We need more of that in BMX. I left this comment on the video, but I said that we need more of this kind of stuff, at least monthly, from Rooftop or people like Rooftop in BMX. We need this kind of honesty from people that no one can say shit to, basically. Because right now, the majority of BMX is a whole bunch of people who are tiptoeing around their opinions and trying not to offend anybody and trying not to lose their $500 a month paychecks by saying the wrong thing to the wrong person or one-upping the wrong person or doing anything like that. Basically, BMX is way too political right now, and we need more people like Rooftop saying these kinds of things and just keeping it real. And that's pretty much it for the highlights from last week. So that brings us into the sponsorship news from last week. And the first and only thing that I want to talk about here is GT adding 3 new people to their team. The first one is the one I'm most stoked about, and that is Mason Ritter. Second, we've got Parker Heath, and then we've got Maty Stockton, otherwise known as Ratty Maty on Instagram. All of these dudes absolutely shred, and I'm so pumped that they're added to the GT team. Clearly, Jeff Z is doing his new team manager role proud in adding these people. Mason is somebody who rides different than just about everyone in BMX, and the fact that he's now on GT means that he's not only going to have the support from a company that can actually do stuff for him, but also means that he's going to have so much more opportunities. Have you seen all of the stuff that GT's doing? And I don't know if you've heard yet or not, but I've heard that GT pays their riders pretty well for a BMX company. And then we can move on to talk about Parker Heath and Maty. These two dudes are California dudes who absolutely rip. And if you haven't followed Maty on Instagram yet, you need to do it because this dude is dropping DVD bangers weekly on his Instagram. The dude does some of the scariest, craziest stuff you've ever seen. And having been to the Full Factory warehouse now and ridden the ramps, the roof drop that he did and the foo-foo-noo that he did on the railing, all of that it's seriously that much more insane having seen it in person. So I cannot wait to see what these guys do now that they're on GT, and a huge shout out to Jeff Z and the guys at GT for giving the opportunity to 3 very deserving people. And I lied, there's actually one other sponsorship thing to talk about, and that is a Jackman Hines Welcome to We the People video that came out this week. It's just over 6.5 minutes long, but the actual riding part of the video goes to like 4 minutes 45 seconds. The song's pretty chill, but the riding is completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. There's so much insane insane stuff in the video. So if you guys want to check this one out, honestly, I couldn't just watch the whole thing straight through. I had to click through it because the song just didn't do it for me. But the riding is on point. So if you guys enjoy street riding, you can click through this one and I'm sure that you'll find something that you enjoy in it. And that brings us to the contest and jam stuff from this week. And the first thing to talk about here is a video from Vans from the 2019 Vans BMX Pro Cup. It's a highlights video from the entire Pro Cup featuring the two champions, Jason Watts and Natalia DM. After that, we've got a highlights video from Merritt BMX at the Belchertown BMX Jam. This one, honestly, you only need to watch it for one clip. That is a bunny hop peacock air from Mystery Blue Tires dude. I don't know who he is. I apologize for that. He's probably someone I should know, but he was the highlight of this video and all of his clips make it worth watching this video. After that, we've got a video from the Posh 25th birthday jam. This one features the high air contest that they did. So we've got everything from the bowl contest to a prefab skate park jam video to some trails stuff. Now we can move on to a FlatGround game of bike video. This one features Chad Kerley and Dennis Enarson going head to head in a game of bike on flat ground. So you know you want to watch that one if you haven't already. Then we can move on to some street stuff. We've got a highlights video from the BMX Street Station 2019 jam. The description for this one over on Dig BMX's YouTube channel is the 10th anniversary and maybe the best BMX street jam ever. If you watch this video, there's got to be hundreds of people riding around with him. If you've ever been to a street jam and you've seen that there's probably like 50 or 60 people there, like the ones that I've been to, I can't even imagine what it would be like to ride around with hundreds of BMX riders in the streets. It's a little bit less of a street jam because it's kind of like the streets are just shut down and then there's ramps all over the place with rails and ledges and all kinds of stuff, and it looks like it was an absolutely amazing time. And then the last contest and jam thing that I have to talk about is a video with Trey called This Is Swampfest, and that's exactly what it is. Someone interviewed him and it's him talking about what Swampfest is, what it represents, what it's supposed to be, what he hopes it could be, and basically the fact that he wants Swampfest to make people have a good time. And the last quote of the video is that he wants a kid to go to Swampfest and then walk away a lifelong BMX rider. That's something that I think we can all respect. After that, that brings us into the videos from this week. The first video that I want to talk about is a video with Courage Adams and Devon Smillie in Barcelona from Fly Bikes. Before I watch this video, I was going to say that this one features two of the best balancers in BMX in the game, and after the fact, it's 100% true. These are the two best front or back wheel balancers in BMX. Courage Adams is the best nose manualer in BMX, period, after watching the last clip. All I can show you is this, basically, except basically that's it. That's all you need to know before you watch it, and you need to watch it. And then Devon Smillie is the best back wheel balancer in BMX when it comes to manuals. Courage Adams, best nose manualer. Devon Smillie, best manualer. And that is demonstrated by the fact that Devon Smiley's only manual clip is a backwards manual that goes extremely far that he fakey crank flip to Smiths out of. It's just, who else does that? Who else is good enough to do that? I don't know if anyone is, and that's why they're the best. And then after that, the only other video I wanted to really talk in depth about is Kink BMX's new Champagne teaser. This says teaser 1, so I'm presuming that there's going to be more. This is less of a video and more of a slideshow with a whole bunch of pictures and just every single celebrity you can think of saying the word champagne in the background. And some of these pictures are kind of gnarly. Wait till you see the Shinner picture that's in there. Ugh, makes my shins hurt if I could feel them right now. This video is coming out November 2nd of this year, so if any of you are fans of anyone on Kink's team, you've got that to look forward to, and that's the last video I wanted to talk in depth about. As always, there's several more that I think you guys should watch, so let's list them right now. First, Trey Jones' Northeast Summer Vacation from Shadow. Second, Jack Elkins on Our BMX's YouTube channel called Lost and Found. And then third, we've got Connor Keating's Midnight Creatures Stranger DVD section. Except it's not Stranger, it's Primo's Midnight Creatures DVD before any of you go insane on me in the comments. And that brings us to the products from this week. The first thing to talk about here is a video from WeThePeople, and it's called Manifesto 2019. So for anyone who's like me and had absolutely no idea what Manifesto was, it's actually WeThePeople, Radio Bikes, Salt Plus, all these companies that are under the WeThePeople family. They had this Manifesto thing at a brewery in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they had every single new product for the year 2020 at this place for people to see. And then in the brewery, they set up a ramp setup for everyone to ride as well. So this video is people talking about all the different 2020 We the People and all the company's stuff. They talked a lot about the We the People Battleship bike, Dan Kruk's signature frame, Felix Prangenberg's signature frame, and then the video goes into riding and shows everybody just absolutely destroying these ramp setups. And honestly, I think this concept is pretty cool. It's kind of like Interbike, but only for one family of companies and all of their products for the entire year. And then they made it into a huge event with riding and all of this stuff. So it's kind of better than Interbike. It just means that if a whole bunch of companies did stuff like this, it would cost a whole lot more for the people who are going to want to attend multiple of these events. Either way though, this was an awesome one and it was a pretty good video to sum everything up. And I think the craziest thing I took away from this video is that Dan Kruk's new frame has a 12.5 rear end. That might be the shortest BMX rear end that exists, and if it's not, I'm sure one of you are going to let me know about it in the comments. And then the last product related thing I have to talk about this week is Bobbie Altiser's new River Rat Signature Standard frame. This one has a different brake setup than any frame that you've seen lately, or at least in the last probably 20 years. And if you look at the brake setup, it's because it's on the bottom of the chainstay. So it's got internal routing through the bottom tube for the cable, then it comes out and goes to the chainstay on the bottom brakes. I don't know if this has a technical name. If it does, I'm sure, once again, one of you are going to let me know in the comments down below, but it's awesome. Bobbie says it holds up good, and I'm very curious to see more people get on this frame and put it through the paces and see what happens whenever you do sprockets and just all this other stuff that you can do that could potentially completely destroy those brakes. He said it's held up good, so I trust him, and I am very excited to see where it goes. And that brings us to the interview section from this week. The first one I want to talk about is another Space Brothers podcast, this time with Catfish. I know that Catfish is a very polarizing person, but having known him for a little while now and heard him talk about things, I feel like he's a pretty reasonable dude who's just passionate about BMX and passionate about the problems that need solved in BMX. He just kind of doesn't say things in the best way for people to kind of take those things in and accept them. He says it for what it is. He's blunt, and that rubs some people the wrong way, but it always comes from a place of loving BMX. And if you watch this podcast, you can hear him in his reasoning for certain things, and a lot of it kind of makes sense. There was nothing in here that I heard and I was like, yep, that's crazy. He's crazy. We can just write him off out of BMX like a lot of people have done. And if nothing else, this is an entire lifetime and world traveling of BMX stories to listen to. And if you push everything else aside and boil it down to just that, this is an extremely entertaining and worth listening to podcast. Then we've got another Palaver podcast from Chris Doyle, this time with Todd Walkowiak. I've only gotten about halfway through this one, and honestly, I didn't know anything about Todd before listening to this one, so it's pretty awesome to listen and learn, and it's cool to just know the legend status of Doyle and how good he is and all the legendary things and tricks that he's done throughout the years, and then hear him talk so highly of someone else that I really didn't know about, and hear him ask him literally, is just everything easy for you? Because apparently BMX kind of just clicked to Todd and things just kind of worked for him, and this one is definitely one that I think a lot of the people who watch this news video are also going to enjoy. That's going to do it for this week's BMX news video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you had a favorite story, let me know in the comments down below. If I screwed anything up, let me know as well. If you have anything at all to add, leave it in the comment section down below. Let's get a conversation going. Check out the playlist right here for some more videos for your face. Subscribe if you're new, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.